Why is it taking so long to join? Oh, here's Tion.
Hey! Austin's not working.
What up?
What's up, guys?
Jan.
What's going on?
Not much.
Tommy, did you get a haircut?
I did get a haircut.
No.
You like it?
Yeah, it looks good, but I missed the flow.
Yeah. It was getting too annoying.
Really?
Cole, buddy.
Boys, how we living?
How are we?
Good. Just driving home in traffic.
There you
Bunch
go.
of hordes.
Is Austin?
I don't know what's happening with Austin.
Where's Chris, buddy?
Chris, buddy, should be joining soon.
Austin.
Dude, Tommy, I so thought you were Phil for a second when I first joined.
Dude, he does look like Phil.
Dude, I can see that.
I thought it was Ben.
But,
Sits next to each other. That's
I bought
nuts.
200 pizza rolls and salad.
How many pizza rolls?
Boys, hey.
Hey. How are we?
How have we been?
We have been good.
Pizza rolls and salad.
Live, yeah. Go hop in. Sorry, I gotta check my AirPods real quick.
It's good to focus with the group today.
Oh,
Hey! Dude, we got numbers.
yes.
We have numbers, dude.
Who we got in here? We got Cole, we got Tion. Hey, Tion, what's up?
Shreya.
Hello.
Hey. Wait. I'm so confused as to what this is.
You'll learn.
We're
You'll
just
see
hanging out.
for about 2 more people.
Okay, I'm gonna drive home, so I'm gonna turn my camera off, but I'm right here.
Sounds good. We just need audio. All right. At 4:35, we're going to start the focus group interview. Just see if there's any other stragglers.
Chris, buddy.
Hey, how are we, gentlemen?
We're doing good. You even put the interview shirt on.
I don't take these things lightly, so.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate your professionalism.
How's the
Jan.
It's the Tommy Hilfiger's looking nice.
Sorry, what was that?
The Tommy Hilfiger's looking nice.
Thanks, Cole. Rapping.
Rapping.
The lineage. So grand.
All right.
Is Phil joining? Do you know, Chris?
He was just, looked like he was just about to hop in.
Sick.
Oh, we got Isabella. Uh-oh, frozen.
Dude, we have like 8 people, huh?
7, because I'm one of the.
Dude. We got 7.
What just happened?
Try chatting.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, we're back.
That's where's Wi-Fi went down because all the pesky boys are out.
Is
Yes,
that what
good.
happened? The Wi-Fi went out?
I don't know. I'm not on, but no.
Yeah, we went out for a second. Sorry about that, guys.
Then
No worries.
We don't
Then we're
want to
gonna have to
steal
talk
too
to
much of
Wi-Fi.
your time. All right, you think we're good? We got 6 people in here. I think that's good.
Looks like Phil's hopping on right now.
Phil's hopping on.
I see him-
Okay, we'll
I see
take
him
one
getting on
more
his
minute
computer.
for him. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but my computer just bugged out on me.
That kind of Wi-Fi
Here's
stuff
Phil.
gonna happen.
What was that?
that kind of Wi-Fi stuff gonna like?
That kind of Wi-Fi stuff.
Is that gonna happen again?
I hope not.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing started.
What time does it actually start?
Thank you for joining us. First of all, we want to go over interview consent policies. Just want to inform you guys that we are recording this, and we are conducting this focus group to gain research for our research project. The general idea of this research project is to basically understand the social and generational factors that influence Gen Z's motivation and capability to purchase a home in the current property market. Ben, is there anything else you'd like to say about the consent stuff?
Yeah, so if everybody can just go around and say their names, basically like that they consent to being recorded, then that would be great. Maybe we could start with Tion.
Yep. My name is Tion. I'm going on record as being okay to be recorded for this focus group.
Thank you, Tion. Christopher.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Huckel, and I'm okay with being recorded for this project. Thanks.
Austin?
My name's Austin Wechter, and I consent to be recorded for this project.
Isabella?
My name is Isabella, and I consent to being recorded.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Cole Sweest?
My name's Cole, and I give consent.
And Philip? Okay.
Philip.
No consent for Philip.
You're muted.
I give consent to be recorded.
What's his name?
What's your name?
Is that
What's up?
Phil, you gotta say your name, man.
I'm Philip, and I consent to be being recorded.
Last but not least, Sharia.
I'm Shreya, and I give consent to be recorded.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. Now we'll go straight into the questions that we have for you. Basically, the format will be, we're going to go through a list of about 10 questions, and we're going to leave it open to about 2 or 3 of you answering the question. We don't have to have everybody answer every question, but we definitely want to see participation from everybody at some point throughout all of the questions. And yeah, so first question, Ben, would you like to get us kicked off?
Yeah. So at what age would you like to buy a house, ideally?
I would say probably like around 30, if not sooner. I would say at least by 30, I guess is what I should say. But hopefully sooner, like late 20s.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I feel like for most
24.
Yeah, Cole said 24.
24.
Austin, what were you gonna say?
I said I feel like for most people it's as soon as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't seem a little realistic, you know, right when you get out of college. It's not the first thing on people's priority list. But for me, it's always like as soon as you're able to.
I'm sorry. I'm not lying. I'm sorry.
All right, thanks, Austin. What do you think, Phil?
Phil, you got to unmute.
Oh, I think what Austin said is right on par. I'd say as soon as possible, but I think like once you figure out kind of a place you want to live and be for a bit is the ideal time. So maybe like around 25 or 26.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you for those contributions to the question. I think we're going to move on to the next one. The next one is, how prepared do you feel at this current moment to buy a house?
Are we talking like financially, mentally, spiritually? What are we hitting on?
I think spiritually. No, I think all of the above. How comfortable you are in all of those areas. It's a pretty open-ended question. If you kind of take that financially, or if you kind of take it through the lens of mentally, that's up to you to interpret what being prepared means.
Cole, you want to take this?
I'm not prepared yet. I'm hoping in like a year's time frame that I'll be financially able to buy a house, and I'll be ready in a good place in life to buy a house as well, both emotionally and spiritually and mentally.
We appreciate that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that question?
I'm not gonna lie, I can barely afford my groceries, so a house is a little bit much for my thought process right now.
Definitely. So?
He's just talking muted again.
Phil, it's muted.
Phil, you're muted.
He doesn't understand.
Okay. Phil, we'll get back to you on that one. Next question is what price point ideally are you looking to spend on a house? What is that ideal budget for you? Austin?
I mean, I feel like I would. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Phil's making me laugh. I would say like price range, like 700,000 roughly, maybe. Like I feel like in San Diego, not gonna touch anything under that price range. But then that kind of like brings up the idea of if I like stay in California. I'm sorry for laughing, but yeah, I think California's expensive. So like I feel like what I want to buy would be yeah, it's expensive.
Thank you, Austin. Anyone else? Thank you, Austin.
Can we get like another opinion maybe on how much you'd like to spend on either like a house or a condo?
Yeah. Yeah, probably like 800,000. And then it goes up from there.
Awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Bella, what would you say is your ideal price point?
I would say for sure in San Diego it would be nice to have something cheaper, like 600 or 700, but I don't know if I'll end up here. So maybe I'll go somewhere where it's hopefully less expensive.
I think that's a valid thought as well. If there's another place in America or around the world that you feel more would be more suited to your living situation, what kind of price point do you think you would want to go for in another spot besides California?
I don't plan to buy a house until later, so I would say maybe like 500,000 would be a good goal for me. Maybe in Denver, but Denver's getting expensive too, so we'll see.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right, Ben, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, and the next question is, how much money would you like to have saved up in order to like put a down payment on a house, or just like in order to feel ready to purchase a house? How much would you want to have saved up?
Tion?
To be honest, I am so clueless when it comes to this stuff that I don't even know what is like an average amount for a down payment. But what I will say is, regardless of the price of the house, I'd want to have whatever I've saved up. I want to be able to put at least like a quarter, somewhere between like a quarter to a third, if not all the way to a half of the house's cost, like in the down payment. Now that wouldn't, I would hopefully that wouldn't like wipe out the savings, but however much I have saved, I would hope that it would be enough to put at least a quarter to a half of the total cost down right away.
Wow, that's a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would say like 20% down is where I like to be at.
Cool. Anyone else thinks lower than 10%?
Probably not. No.
Why not?
I think then you start like spending money you don't have, you know?
Right.
Very valid.
I'd probably piggyback on Ozzy and say 20%.
Okay.
I'd probably piggyback on Ozzy and say
What was that?
You could do an FHA though and do 3.5% down. I was saying.
Okay. FHA 3.5.
Hey, can you guys all hear me all right?
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Perfect.
Okay. And next question. What are you guys' plans to save money for a house? All right, we could start with Austin.
What my plans for you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Continue.
I've been can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. my plans have just been investing in crypto and making my gains from that. That's how I bought a house in Florida, and I used that to do it. So that's what I've been using. It's not the wisest thing, but it's kind of worked so far. But I would say just like being wise with my finances and trying to save up for at least having like a year's worth of the mortgage and my savings after putting down payment and being at a job or a place where I feel confident. But I would say just knowing that what I am getting, I'm comfortable with that,
Okay.
long term.
Okay. Chris, what are your plans for saving money for a house?
Yeah, similar to Ozzy, I've been trying to get into crypto.
Sorry, continue. You were talking about getting into crypto like Austin.
Yeah, sorry. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Yeah, that similar to Austin and just life choices, like what you're spending your money on. Like, I gotta stop eating out, but
No, that's I like that point. Just watching our day-to-day spending. That's a great valid opinion. Move on to the next one. Should we go with that question or the next one?
We'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
Next question is, does your family play a role in you buying a house, and how? If we could, if everyone could give an answer on this one, that'd be great.
I would say that they've definitely played a role. So even just recently, my sister and her husband just bought their first house in Costa Mesa, back home where my family's from. And so seeing that and seeing their process even over the last few years of saving up, and he owns his own company. So how he's trying to be managing his finances and the company's finances to get them there. And then also my parents have kind of gotten lucky throughout the years with buying low and selling high, and have been able to actually make quite a good amount of money just from buying property at the right time and selling it at the right time without even necessarily intentionally doing so. So yeah, I can't necessarily think of specifics, but seeing their experiences have definitely shaped how I view buying a home.
Cool. Great answer. What about you, Cole?
What do you guys mean by fam? If they're gonna play a role and if they're gonna help us buy a home, or just looking at their life, if that's
or just
playing a role?
talking to you about home buying and maybe tips or maybe a good age to buy a house.
Yeah, no, I think that stuff that my parents have definitely played a big role in mentoring me with just how I spend my money and stuff like that. And so I think they do play a big role, and are going to play a big role. And when that does become more of a reality, and when the timeline is there on me being able to afford a house, they'll definitely have an influence. And they've always kind of told me about the benefits of buying versus just renting forever. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Churia?
Shoot, I missed the question.
It's okay. The question was just if your family plays a role in if or when you buy a house.
It's a good question. I think I think they'll definitely play a role in guiding me through the process, especially my dad. I guess this is unnecessary information, but like my my dad's very will like help me keep track of like what I'm choosing to spend my money on and like how to budget the money I make.
Okay.
And so when I think it comes time for like a big financial decision like buying a house, I think they'll play a role in helping me with that. I don't necessarily know that they'd play a role in like helping with the funds for it, but I think in guiding me through like the process.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you.
Yeah, something the job I do is helping people buy houses, and I think a lot of people, they're what I see for most first time home buyers is I would say majority of people get gift funds, and they like get gifted from a family member. Sorry. And I feel like there's like a lot of people have shame in getting gift funds from people. But I would say like majority of people, it's their first time buying a house that I work with get gift funds. And it's like something that's very normal, but I feel like there's a weird taboo that you shouldn't get help from your family. But a lot of, like, I know my parents got buy their first house, they had their parents help them buy one. So it's guys like Rodney, Ben, and my dad that help with that stuff.
Yeah, tier 1, absolutely. Okay, moving on to the next question. Does the thought of buying a house intimidate you? What do you think, Phil?
I think financially it could intimidate me just because it's like if you're getting a mortgage, that's kind of a really long commitment that you gotta follow through with. Otherwise, you lose a lot of money. But I think the idea of just like being a house owner isn't intimidating. It's welcoming to me.
Okay.
So just financially, so
Okay.
it's a commitment. And also, if you're buying a house, you're probably going to want to stay put in that area a while. So it's kind of like a little bit intimidating that you're deciding where you want to live for the next like 5 to 10 years at least.
Okay. Yeah, great answer. Thanks. Anybody else?
Bella?
I would say that I'm definitely intimidated just because I don't feel like I have a lot of specific knowledge about it right now. I think like when I feel financially stable enough and decisive enough to choose a place where I want to look for somewhere to live, I'll probably go about, I don't know, educating myself more thoroughly so that I can feel confident in buying a home. But I think it's a little intimidating right now just because I've never really ventured to understand it. But it will become clear, I hope.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think a lot of people aren't like quite educated, and they're just kind of scared of what they don't know. So you're not alone in that. All right, anyone else, or are we ready to move on to the next question? Okay. What challenges do you expect to face when entering the housing market?
I expect.
I'd say.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Austin.
No, you go, Chris.
I'd say I expect a lot of logistical problems just with. I just overhear Austin on the phone. Just a lot of logistical stuff with like paperwork wise and tax documents. So I just expect there's going to be a lot more to it than I anticipate. And so it's going to be kind of a headache going through and figuring out exactly what you have to do to get a mortgage and stuff like that.
Okay.
Sweet. Cool. Cole?
One more time on the question for me.
What challenges do you expect to face when you enter the housing market?
I think we all come in with like some expectations on like what type of house we want, and it all just depends on like lining up on your timeline on like what houses are available. So I think first finding a house that you're interested in, and then second finding like the price of the house that works for what you're interested in, and then the location, like where you want to live, all that stuff goes into it. So it's kind of like pretty tricky because where you kind of buy a house is kind of where you're putting your roots in. It's kind of where your community is in a way.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance between a lot of different things. Sweet. Thank you for that answer.
Thank you. Cool.
Next
Well,
question is
Do you think buying a house will be more difficult for you, like in 2022, than it was for your parents back in like the 80s or 90s whenever they bought a house? I know a lot of people say they think it is because houses were cheaper back then, but yeah.
Well, I mean, people get paid more now, so it's like with inflation, like housing is more expensive, but like like wages are more, so it's just like that's like increased. But I think it's harder as far as like the legality of it. Of people were just getting handed out mortgages, and that's why the housing bubble crashed in 2008. So actually, like qualifying for a certain size mortgage, that's where it becomes like I think a little bit harder, but that's where the feat of like getting the money to do it. I don't think it's harder.
Okay. Cool. Can we get one more response on that?
I think I would say no, and there's especially like there's a lot of different places you could go, but I feel like definitely like being in San Diego, people want to everyone wants to be by the beach, and maybe if our parents bought closer to the beach, like way back when it was a lot cheaper, it was definitely easier than because it wasn't as it wasn't as much the spot to be. But now I think kind of people have to go a little more inland or places where it's not so ridiculously priced out. So in that sense, like maybe the exact destination you want to be, but as far as getting, you can move in a little more inland or find another state or something where it's more affordable.
Okay.
Back off that too, what Austin said. I think it's getting harder to find the perfect that fits all of your criteria, but I think if people begin to get a little more creative and open their parameters up a little bit to something that might be a little bit different from what they'd always wanted, then I think there's plenty of houses out there that are still for the taking. And yeah, after the 08 bubble pop, we started to see like a little bit of taking place.
Yeah, and Chris, just kind of like bouncing off of that, what else do you think can be done in like the mortgage market to make it easier to get a mortgage nowadays or a house?
Within the mortgage market, I couldn't tell you. Maybe guys like Austin and like Eric, but I think
Rodney.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, and Chris, just kind of bouncing off that, what do you think?
Like people could begin to qualify themselves better and more strong.
Yeah, and what do you think for a first-time house, Chris? Like better to be by the beach or more inland where it's a little cheaper?
It depends on your wallet. I mean, if you have the bankroll to back it, then I think typically you just buy the house that you want when money is not of the utmost concern. But when you're looking to spend, numbers like 6 and 7s, when you get into those things, 5s and 6s, then you tend to want to like head a little bit east. And
Right.
guys like us, like it's hard, and you have to do that.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's just the reality. My thoughts, your thoughts, I think they're not going to change anything. It's just the world we live in. So what do you think about it?
I wish I could say, but I'm the moderator.
Thanks.
But I'll get
You're
your
doing a
number.
great job
We can
as
talk.
moderator.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome, Benjamin.
And then the last question, Phil, would you like to start
And
off?
Tommy.
Yeah. It says, where have you received the majority of your knowledge on how to make these steps possible?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a combination of sources. Definitely just overlooking firsthand experience with parents and siblings, seeing the work that goes into selecting a house and buying a property in the modern day, kind of seeing the potential expenses you might also forego that is beyond just the entry price. Like if you're flipping a house, there's going to be a lot of repairs and stuff that are going to cost you that you might not realize, and kind of the headache with dealing with contractors and hiring different people to get the job done. So yeah.
Awesome. Great answer, Philip. Tion, what would you think about that type of question?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, yeah. The connection is getting a little spotty. So it says, where have you received the majority of your knowledge on how to make these steps possible?
Oh, that's right. Definitely not from like school, right? Like that, which is maybe somewhere you think it would teach you about that, but definitely not that. I think most of it has just come from like overhearing, like, you know, I mentioned my my sister and her husband buying a house, and just overhearing conversations of like them with my parents talking about this stuff. Has been kind of the main thing. But I haven't done any research on my own and haven't really, been told from other sources. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, right on, man.
It's kind of, for me, it's guys like Eric, Rodney, and Ben. Like those are my sources, like the tier 1 guys that just know a lot.
Yeah,
you
can
know,
you kind of just like expand on that maybe?
Yeah, it's like they're doing well in life. They've already bought in a few properties, flipped them, you know, maybe have a vacation home. You know, they've been around the ringer a few times, but definitely like the tier 1, not tier 3, but tier 1
Absolutely.
kind of guys.
Night and day. Absolutely.
Sweet, guys. Well, does that conclude all our questions?
Yeah.
That, in fact, concludes all our questions. Thank you so much for giving us your time tonight.
Thank you guys very much.
We really appreciate it, and we got a lot of good responses. A lot of good research was done tonight. So hope to see y'all around, and y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Ben and Tommy, for hosting and the questions, for everything.
Yeah, thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You guys are the
Thanks for
real
inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a privilege. See you, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
Ben.
one.